please spend the night. And if you are in the mountains area, there may be landslides. And also, even if you are in an urban area, if there is a hill close by, please stay away from these slopes. There are still strong earthquakes occurring, so please make sure that you are safe.
Please be careful not to cause fire. According to the footage from Wajima, we saw rising smokes. We didn't see flames, but there may be a fire. Please be careful not to cause fire. Please do not get burns. The Meteorological Agency has started a news conference. A major tsunami warning has been issued to Noto, Ishikawa Prefecture. A major tsunami is being observed. Those along the coast or the rivers should evacuate to higher ground as soon as possible. A major tsunami warning has been issued. Major tsunami warning has been issued to Noto, Ishikawa Prefecture. Major tsunami has been observed. Those along the coast and the rivers should evacuate to a higher ground as soon as possible. Once again, a major tsunami warning has been issued. A major tsunami warning has been issued to Noto, Ishikawa Prefecture. Major tsunami is being observed. Those along the coast or along the rivers should evacuate to a higher ground as soon as possible. The scale of 7 was observed in this earthquake in Ishikawa Prefecture. In areas with strong tremors, housings are collapsing and there can be a risk of landslide. Please be careful about the upcoming earthquakes and please do not go into a dangerous area for a week or so, particularly for the coming 2 or 3 days. A maximum of the scale of 7 could occur, so please be careful. The scale of 7 was registered in Ishikawa Prefecture. In areas with strong tremors, there are risks of landslides and housing collapsing, so please be careful about the future earthquakes. Please do not enter a dangerous area. For a week or so, particularly for the coming 2 or 3 days, please be careful about earthquakes at a maximum of the scale of 7. Tsunami warning has been issued to various areas. As you can see in this map, tsunami warning and major tsunami warnings and tsunami bulletin have been issued in a wide range of areas. Major tsunami warning has been issued to Noto, Ishikawa Prefecture. Tsunami warning has been issued to Yamagata Prefecture, Etsu, Chu, Etsu, Ka, Etsu, Sado in Niigata Prefecture, and Toyama and Hyogo Prefectures. Tsunami warning has been issued to the western side of the Pacific in Hokkaido, and Hokkaido Pacific side, the southern coast areas, and the coastal area of Aomori, Akita, Kyoto, Tottori Prefectures, Shimane Prefecture, Izumo, Iwami areas, Oki, Yamaguchi Prefecture, the Sea of Japan coast, Fukuoka Prefecture, Sea of Japan side, Northern Saga, and Ikitsushima. Regarding the observation of the tsunami, Wajima Port, Ishikawa Prefecture in Noto, more than 1.2 millimeters have been observed. And these tsunami have been observed. We are continuing the observation right now. This is the waveform of the tsunami. Ishikawa Prefecture Noto in Wajima Port. This is the location. More than 1.2 meters have been observed. We don't have the details of the data yet. That's why it's shown as 1.2. Nanahashi is Suzuka City. The tsunami data is not coming in due to the earthquake. Overview of the earthquake. You can see the details like the time of the occurrence. This is the status of the seismic activities. This is the data as of 5:30 p.m. 19 earthquakes have been observed. Once for the scale of 7, 3 times with the scale of 5, 4, 8 times, 3, 6 times. In Noto, Ishikawa Prefecture, the tsunami has been observed.
And the points that you have to pay attention to for the prevention of the disasters. And many major the tsunami has been observed, and there is the fear of the major damage. And those people that will live in the coastal areas and along the rivers, that please evacuate immediately. Evacuate now to the safe buildings. A tsunami comes in several ways, and so until that the warnings are lifted, please stay in the safe areas. Those people that who the areas of the strong jolts, there is the danger of the collapse of the houses and the other damage, and therefore to be on the alert of the tsunami and the earthquake information. Please refrain from going into the dangerous areas as much as possible, unless that you are compelled. The future prediction. And according to the past cases, and after the major earthquakes, the aftershocks may take the 10% or 20% possibility of the aftershocks, and therefore be on the alert of 1 week. You may observe that intensity of 7. And especially for the 2-3 days that you may see that the major earthquakes, the massive earthquakes even, and the possibility is high. And well, in these areas, they have the active earthquake for 3 years, and it is anticipated to continue for some time to come. And the earthquake, that the jolting, the turmoil of this earthquake is covering the wider areas than the before. So this is a distribution of the estimated jolts. Right here is that the triangle indicates that 5 or less, intensity 5 or less. But we do not have the finalized data yet. So these are the sites of the observation sites of that unknown data. And for the Noto, we observed the long cycle of the jolts of the rank of 4. So skipping 2 pages. And so that the reverse fissure type of the earthquake is a cause of the earthquake. And the red dot indicates that the intensity of 7, and the blue are the aftershocks, the major aftershocks. And this is the distribution of the jolts, as you can see. Now, so far, that for the past 3 years' activities concentrated on here, but it has been that right now the damaged area, the observed area, is wider of this year. And so this is the detailed information, more detailed information that the previous page discusses. Yes, move forward. And that was the Meteorological Agency's officials report, as you have seen, that the planner of the Meteorological Agencies, the Shimoyama Toshihiro, briefed on the earthquake. And the major tsunami the warnings was issued to the Ishikawa Prefecture, the Wajima. And so that the tsunami comes in several waves, so that Mr. Shimoyama says that the people have to stay in the safe areas. And also in the mountainous areas, there is a possibility of the landslide and also the other damage, and therefore that for the next 1 week or the 2-3 times to come, that the people have to brace against that the aftershock of 7 up to 7. On the screen, that this is a new information of the tsunami newly observed. We have that Professor Sataki Kenji of the Tokyo University, who is an expert of tsunami. Listening to the meteorological agencies, the briefing, that what is your interpretation of the earthquake and the tsunami along the Noto Peninsula, and for the past 3 years that the earthquake activities is very active for up until the 5 magnitude 5, and the last year that the 6.5 magnitude, and right now the 7. So it is becoming greater in terms of the intensity, and so that this measure. Biggest the jolt of this time is causing the aftershocks, and there are many tsunamis on the waves. As you can see that the up to date information, 7 in the Okushiri port, they observed the 50 centimeters of the tsunami in Hokkaido, and there are several tsunamis observed in Hokkaido, and the second or the third tsunamis are higher than the first wave. And Ishikawa Noto, the major tsunami warning has been issued in the Noto, the Ishikawa, and also that the Joetsu, Chuetsu, and the Kaetsu, and the Sado, and Toyama, and Yamagata, and Ishikawa, and Kaga, and the Fukui, and these are the places of that the earthquake, that the tsunami warnings are issued for. This is a basic information, Professor, that what are the points that they have to pay attention to? Well, while that the major tsunami warnings are issued, but please remain in the shelter, because
And in Wajima City, a 1 meter, 20 centimeter high tsunami was observed. And in the Meteorological Agency's news conference, they said that accurate information is not coming in. Yes, the agency says that 1.2 meters and others, probably there must have been some machine trouble because of power outage. And Wajima and other areas, the tsunami information is not coming in. Maybe it has been restored, but it was difficult to observe, and therefore it's very difficult to grasp the actual tsunami. And so it may take time until the alerts and warnings will be released, and the actual tsunami may be higher than the ones indicated on the screen. So the biggest tsunami in the areas where a large tsunami has been hit, accurate information is not being grasped. Yes, therefore you have to be on the alert. You must be on the guard. And going forward, we still do not know, but how long should people be on the alert concerning the tsunami? Well, the earthquake, the seismic activities, we don't know what will happen, but after 4:10 this afternoon, when the big tsunami hit, the big earthquake hit, after that in 1983 or in 98 in Hokkaido, or 93 in Hokkaido, the tsunami hit Hokkaido and then it went to Russia and then it splashed back to Japan. Therefore, it may continue for 2 or 3 days. So you must not let your guard down. And of course, we don't want this to happen, but the tsunami that comes back from the continent, the one that splashes back, that may be higher. Well, it may not be higher, but it may continue for a very long time. The tsunami may come and go for a very long time. Even if it's smaller than the first tsunami, it may still cause damage. And also it seems that earthquakes are continuing in the Noto area, so please make sure that you are in a safe place. Please stay away from things that may topple over or fall off. And of course, if there is an emergency earthquake warning, you will be able to see it on the screen. However, for smaller earthquakes, there may not be early warnings before the earthquake hits. And also, as the earthquake continues, and also we see that the warnings are being repeated. I don't remember this happening, but why is this happening? Well, this area, for the past 2 or 3 years, there has been a lot of seismic activities continuing, and so far the earthquakes were rather small scale, but last year was a magnitude 6.5, and today there was magnitude 7.5 earthquake, and therefore the activities may continue. And that's why we see the earthquake emergency warning. things coming one after another. And if you look at the focus of course is not a dot. It has an area, but it is caused quite close to the land. Well, yes, in the Noto Peninsula, under the ground, towards the deeper side and then toward the shallow side, we have seen the earthquakes advancing, and this time, once again, the focus was close to an area out in the sea. And in the Noto area, we are seeing earthquakes being repeated, and it's already dark, it's nighttime. But as people spend the night in evacuation, it may be difficult to remain calm. But what are the things that people should watch out for? Well, while the tsunami warnings are out, especially people who are living in areas with a major tsunami warning, you should stay evacuated, you stay in the shelters, and make sure that you are on high ground, and the shaking may continue. Therefore, please watch out for any landslides and also for collapsing buildings. So please stay in a sturdy building. And of course, it's winter time. You have to stay warm, and there may be things people must watch out for because it's nighttime. Well, it's dark. It may be difficult to see around you. You may not see collapsed buildings around you. And also, blackouts may happen, and therefore, you should prepare against that, especially if you are using electricity for heating. Once the power goes out, it may be difficult to keep warm.
We will ask Professor Satake later on. There are many reports of injuries in Suzu City, Ishikawa Prefecture, where the scale of upper 6 was recorded. Those who were injured in the earthquake are being brought to the hospital one after another, but there are some doctors who cannot reach the hospital due to the bad condition of the roads due to the quakes, and the power has been suspended, so they have to deal with the reserve power at the hospital. There's a power outage at the hospital in Suzu City, Ishikawa Prefecture, where the scale of upper 6 was recorded. According to a doctor of Suzu City General Hospital, they are dealing with patients injured in the earthquake one after another, but there are some doctors who had not been able to reach the hospital due to the bad road conditions. From the top, 70-centimeter tsunami was recorded in Kanazawa Port in Ishikawa Prefecture at 6:19. 70-centimeter tsunami has been observed at Tsunami Port. At Kanazawa Port. Tsunami can come again and again, and it can be higher compared to the first one. The major tsunami warning has been issued to Wajima, Ishikawa Prefecture, and Sado, Toyama Prefecture, Fukui, Hyogo, northern area. 3-meter tsunami is expected, where the tsunami warning has been issued. Even if the tsunami is just dozens of centimeters, you have to be careful. Please stay in a safe place. And it's going to be getting colder, so please try to find a way to keep yourself warm. This is a live report from Wajima City, Ishikawa Prefecture at 6 p.m. and fire seems to be occurring as well. We see smokes. Smokes are rising repeatedly. And towards the bottom of the smokes, we don't see the flame, but the smokes look red. And the earthquakes are occurring repeatedly. Please be careful not to cause fire. In the cold weather, you may be using an oil stove. Please keep yourself warm, but please be careful not to cause a fire. And please do not get burns yourselves. This is a footage from Kanazawa City when the earthquake occurred. We don't know the details about this video and the timing of the earthquake, but quakes are occurring repeatedly. There can be strong tremors later on, so please be away from something falling onto yourself. Regarding, we have the information about the evacuation and the damage. Ishikawa Prefecture, Nomi City, where the scale of 5 was recorded. The quake continued for 15 seconds or so, and the tremor increased. And there are intermittent tremors in the city.
For those who've just joined us, this is NHK Newsline covering the information regarding a massive earthquake that struck Japan about 2.5 hours ago. A massive magnitude 7.6 earthquake has struck Ishikawa Prefecture in central Japan along the Japan seacoast. A major tsunami warning has been issued for the prefecture. Tsunami warnings were also issued for prefectures of Niigata, Toyama, Yamagata, Fukui, and Hyogo, also along the Japan seacoast. It's the first time the major tsunami warning was issued since the 2011 earthquake in northeastern Japan. The warning is issued when tsunami of 3 meters or more are expected. The city of Wajima in Ishikawa Prefecture has observed tsunami of more than 1.2 meters at 4:21 p.m. Japan time on Monday, following the quake. That's about 2 hours ago. The city of Toyama in Toyama Prefecture also reported tsunami of 80 centimeters at 4:35 p.m. The city of Kashiwazaki in Niigata Prefecture observed tsunami of 40 centimeters at 4:36 p.m. Tsunami have been breaching the Japan seacoast. Tsunami will repeatedly hit the coast and may become higher. People in those areas must evacuate immediately, escape to higher ground, and go as far away as possible from the coast. Please keep evacuating. East Japan Railway Company says operation of the Akita Shinkansen line was suspended around 5 p.m. That's about 1.5 hours ago. The Joetsu and Hokuriku Shinkansen lines have been also stopped services, and it is not known when service will resume. The operator of a nuclear power plant in the town of Shika in Ishikawa Prefecture says it is checking whether the quake has impacted the plant. Hokuriku Electric Power Company says both of the 2 reactors at the Shika nuclear power plant have been offline. Japan's Prime Minister Kishida Fumio has called on the public to be on the alert for more powerful earthquakes.
After 4:40 p.m. today, the Noto region of Ishikawa Prefecture was hit by the earthquake with maximum intensity of 7, followed by a series of major quakes. A major tsunami warning has been issued for several regions. The government has set up the disaster response team immediately after the earthquake, and I gave 3 instructions. First, to communicate information on tsunami and evacuation to the public as accurately as possible. Second, to grasp the damage situation as quickly as possible. And third, coordinate with local municipalities and putting the first priority to saving human lives. So I gave these 3 instructions. I call on the people in the disaster-hit area to stay on alert for subsequent quakes, and in the areas where tsunami is expected, please take shelter to safer places as quickly as possible. For further details, I'll get briefing after this.
Now, here are some other information we have so far. Officials in Ishikawa Prefecture's Wajima City say fire has broke out in the city. A hospital in Suzu City, where a major tsunami warning is out, say injured patients are being carried into the hospital one after another. They say some doctors cannot come in because the roads are closed and they lack medical staff to care for the patients. The hospital says they have no power and that they are working with emergency power supply. According to a staff at the Noto Municipal Office, there are landslides and caved-in roads around the area. And Chief Cabinet Secretary Hayashi Yoshimasa has spoken to reporters and said they have not found abnormalities at the nuclear power plants in the affected areas as of 5 p.m. That's about 1.5 hours ago. Here is some information regarding the nuclear power plant. Operators of the Oi Takahama nuclear power plants in Fukui Prefecture and Shimane plant in Matsube City say no irregularities have been detected in their facilities. The operators of the Shika nuclear plant in Ishikawa Prefecture and Kashiwazaki Kariwa plant in Niigata Prefecture say they are inspecting the impact of the quake. But they say they have found no changes to the monitoring post that measures the radiation level around the nuclear plants. And we're getting information on air transportation. 15 ANA flights to and from Noto, Komatsu, Niigata, and Shonai airports and 9 JAL flights to and from Komatsu and Niigata airports have been canceled. Major highways that run along the Japan seacoast have been closed. They are Hokuriku, Tokai Hokuriku, Joshingetsu, Kangetsu, Bangetsu, and Nihonkai Tohokudo lines. Those highways have been closed. As we've been reporting, tsunami waves have already been observed in wide areas facing the Sea of Japan. Tsunami waves of 1.2 meter or over have been observed in Ishikawa Prefecture's Wajima City. Tsunami waves have been observed in wide areas, including the following areas: Toyama City, Kanazawa Port in Ishikawa Prefecture, Setana Port in Hokkaido, Okushiri Islands Okushiri Port in Hokkaido Prefecture, Kashiwazaki City in Niigata Prefecture, Tobishima Island in Yamagata Prefecture, Niigata Port, Sado Cities, Washizaki in Niigata Prefecture, Oki Islands Saigo Port in Shimane Prefecture, Sakata Port in Yamagata Prefecture, Fukaura Town in Aomori Prefecture, Toyooka City in Hyogo Prefecture, Tsuruga Port in Fukui Prefecture, Akita Port, Maizuru Port in Kyoto Prefecture, Esashi Town in southern Hokkaido, Iwami Town in Tottori Prefecture, Iwanai Town in Hokkaido Prefecture, Sakai Minato Cities, Sakai Port in Tottori Prefecture, Nanato Port in Ishikawa Prefecture. But do not let your guard down because tsunami waves can hit repeatedly and get stronger and higher. So if you have already been evacuated, please keep evacuating. And if you haven't, now is the time. Please keep evacuating to higher ground. Japan's meteorological agency has called for people to be cautious as more major earthquakes are expected. An agency official made the comment at a news conference.
January 1st, 2024, the earthquake occurred in Ishikawa off the coast west prefecture. Major tsunami warning was issued in Noto region, Ishikawa Prefecture. Large waves of tsunami are observed. If you are in the area near the coast or near the river mouth, please evacuate to higher ground. Intensity 7 was observed out of Japanese scale of 0 to 7 in Ishikawa Prefecture. Those hard-hit areas, there is a risk of collapse of buildings. Please be careful of rain or further collapse. Do not enter dangerous areas for a week or so, especially for the coming 2 days or 3 days. Maximum earthquake of intensity 7 may be happening. There is the risk of further damage. If you're in the coastal area or river mouth, please evacuate immediately to higher ground. Tsunami may repeat. Until the warnings are lifted, please stay in safe place, in shelter. In hard-hit areas, there is a risk of furniture toppling down or landslide risks. So please stay tuned to further information on the earthquakes. And unless you absolutely need to, please refrain from going into risky areas. And this is the perspective for the future activities of seismic. According to the past experience, the percentage of similar quake happening after a major quake is 10 to 20%. So in the hard-hit area, please be vigilant. There is a possibility of earthquake of intensity 7 for a week or so. Especially be vigilant in the coming 2 or 3 days. And in this area, more than 3 years, seismic activities have been continuing, and this is likely to continue, so please stay vigilant. And this earthquake is hitting wider area compared to before.
As we've been reporting, the Japan Meteorological Agency, or the JMA, has issued a major tsunami warning, and tsunami advisory for wide areas from northern Hokkaido Prefecture to all the way down to southwestern Kyushu region. A major tsunami warning is being issued for Ishikawa Prefecture's Noto region. Waves of up to 5 meters are expected to impact the area. Waves of 1.2 meter or over has already hit the coast about 2 hours ago, but the JMA says higher waves of up to 5 meters are possible, so please keep evacuating. And major tsunami warning have been issued for the following areas: Yamagata Prefecture, Niigata Prefecture's Jochu Kaetsu regions, Sado Island, Toyama Prefecture, Ishikawa Prefecture's Kaga region, Fukui Prefecture, and northern Hyogo Prefecture. In those areas, tsunami warning has been issued. And the estimated height of the tsunami is 3 meters. Waves of 3 meters are expected to hit the areas, and in some areas, tsunami have already hit the coastlines, but do not let your guard down because tsunami waves can still approach the coastline. So please keep evacuating to higher ground. And also, tsunami advisory has been issued for wide areas indicated with yellow line on the map of Japan you can see on the right-hand side of your screen. Tsunami waves of up to 1 meter are expected to hit the area. If you are in any of those areas, do not approach the coastline and keep away from river mouths. Once again, do not approach the coast if you are in any of the areas under tsunami advisory indicated with yellow line. Now, let's listen into our domestic service with simultaneous translation.
Because of the earthquake, some of the data has not been captured, but as far as we see the remaining data, there seems to be no abnormality. And in Niigata Prefecture, at Kashiwazaki-Kariwa nuclear power plant, since the major earthquake in eastern Japan, it has been suspended, but it has been able to cool the fuel pool, and there is no abnormal value at the monitoring post. In Mihama, Takahama, and Oi nuclear power plants in Fukui Prefecture, some of them are continuing the operations, and the power source has been secured, and they have been able to cool the spent fuel pool. For the time being, we have not been able to observe any abnormality, but regarding the facilities, they heard some sounds and the pump came to a halt, and the Nuclear Regulation Authority is investigating the details, but it's not exposed to an immediate danger That's the overview. But at Ishikawa nuclear power plant, what was the size of the scale? 336.4 gal. And according to this, objectively speaking, what about the impact on the nuclear power plant? At Ishikawa nuclear power plant, it's still under safety review. How much they can tolerate earthquakes, it has not been decided yet. But before, compared to the value before the earthquake, 600 or 400 gal, it's under this level. So the size of the tremor was within their assumptions. But jolting is continuing, so what is going to happen into the future is something we have to monitor. But overall, we don't see any radioactive material in this area. So now there is no leakage of the radioactive material outside. After this, those living in this area, is there anything they should be prepared as of now? There is no release of radioactive materials, so rather than the nuclear power plant, the tsunami and tremors are something they have to continue monitoring. If there is a risk of the release of radioactive material, there's going to be information released by the Nuclear Regulation Authority or the nuclear power plants. In that case, they may have to evacuate, but we don't see a situation like that yet, as far as I have seen and heard the information right now.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mizuno. As we have been reporting, that the aftershocks are taking place a number of the times, and therefore that I would like to repeat my request that the major jolts are taking place and take shelter in the sturdy buildings, and that is very important. And also, right now, that the major Noto of the Ishikawa prefecture, that we see that the major tsunami warning Yamagata and Sado and Toyama and Ishikawa, Kaga and Fukui and prefecture, the northern of the Hyogo prefecture and Ishikawa prefecture Kaga, that the tsunami that warnings are issued. That in Noto of the Ishikawa prefecture, the predicted height of the tsunami is 5 meters, and the tsunami warnings translate to 3 meters. In Ishikawa, Wajima, 1 meter and 20 minutes or more of the tsunami was observed. Well, or more means that there is no detailed data are coming in, so that we do not have the specific data of the tsunami or the actual tsunami height. And so that, right now that we said that 1 meter and 20 minutes, that the actual tsunami may be much higher. And also the second wave and third wave of the tsunami may be higher than the first tsunami. So there is the possibility that you will hit by the higher tsunami. I'm sure that you are taking the shelter already in the safe areas, but be safe. Go into that as high as place and higher places, and also the more sturdy buildings. And these are the ironclad rules. As you can see, this is a Nanao of the Ishikawa. This is right after 4 o'clock. This is the footage of what the earthquake takes place. And in the mountain areas, those people who live near the cliffs, you are maybe in a danger. And so that take shelter to the shelters. Even though that you are not experience a major jolt, that the greater jolt may take place. And according to the meteorological agencies, the report shortly after 5 o'clock, they say that there is a possibility of the major damage because of the major jolts. And those people that live in the coastal areas and the rivers, please go into the higher areas, higher grounds, or the shelters as quickly as possible. There are many ways that the tsunami comes again and again. So keep on taking the shelters to the safe places. That the house may collapse, and also the landslides possibility is high, and therefore that be alert, and also that stay alert and escape the higher grounds, and also be mindful of that the rainfalls and the other possibility of the damage. Be safe. According to the history, that the data, 10% or 20% of the aftershock takes place after the major earthquakes, and therefore be mindful for 1 week or especially 2-3 days after the major jolt. And the earthquake may take in 2-3 days, the possibility high. And also that the earthquake activities is very active in this area for the past 2-3 years, and therefore it may continue, so that stay alert. And this was the repetition of the meteorological agency's report. According to Wajima, the city hall, there is a fire takes place, and the firefighting stations has been trying to subside. And according to the hospital, and there are several people who are carried to the hospitals because of the fractures, or those people who are injured on the head because of the fallen object. And the Wajima Hospital, the municipal Wajima Hospital, that is experienced a blackout, and they are using the generator. And also that the emergency patients are accepted by this the Wajima the hospital. According to Suzu, the hospital, by 5:30, there have been many the requests for that rescue of that upheaval of the roads, and also the collapse of the buildings. And there are several requests of the rescue work by 5:30. And according to the city officer of the Suzu city, and there are blackouts and also the suspension of the water services in the houses around the city hall buildings. Some cases of the blackouts and also suspension of the water service are reported. And upper 6, the jolt of the upper 6 was observed in Suzu city.
And according to Nanao Police Station, by 5:50, there were several reports of houses being collapsed. Nanao Police Station says that up to 5:50, there were reports about landslides and houses collapsing. And so in Nanao, upper 6 intensity was observed. And in Nanao, intensity upper 6 was the strongest quake. And also in Tsubata town, there were reports of a water pipe bursting. So far, there are no reports about human injuries. Tsubata Machi fire department has received report about a water pipe bursting, and also in Uchinada town, close to Kanazawa City, liquefaction of roads and also power poles collapsing has been reported, but so far no human injuries have been reported. And so liquefaction of roads in Uchinada town as well as power poles collapsing has been reported. So those were some damages in Ishikawa. And now in Toyama, in Himi City, after the earthquake, there were reports about buildings collapsed that were reported to the city halls, but so far there were no reports of human injury. So Himi City also, as of 4:30, this is a bit old, but as of 4:30, within the city in several places, there were cracks along the road, according to some reports coming in. So this is Himi City in Toyama Prefecture. After the earthquake, the city hall has received reports about buildings and structures collapsing, but so far there are no reports of human injury. But still, staff are trying to collect information. And Himi City's police station says that as of 4:30, in several places within the city, reports came in about cracks along the road. So if you are trying to evacuate by a car, after a very strong earthquake, roads may have collapsed, or some roads may have become bumpy. Therefore, please be careful. So we would like to report continuing on the damage. And according to the Defense Ministry, after the intensity 6 earthquake in Wajima City in Ishikawa Prefecture, the Self-Defense Force station, about 1,000 residents have evacuated to the base, and they are accepting people who are evacuating. This is the Air Self-Defense Force base in Wajima City. About 1,000 people have evacuated to the area, and they are distributing water as well as blankets and food. And also the Ground Self-Defense Force station in Kanazawa City says that some staff are now moving toward Wajima City. And some information on blackouts. METI is saying that as of 5:30, this is about an hour ago, but in Ishikawa Prefecture and Niigata Prefecture, Toyama Prefecture also, altogether 34,000 houses are without power. And Hokuriku Power Company says that in Nanao City of Ishikawa Prefecture, the Nanao Ota power plant has stopped supplying power from the first unit and second unit. This is a thermal power plant in Ota Nanao of Nanao City, Ishikawa Prefecture. And also for city gas and LP gas and also gasoline stations, so far there are no reports of damages coming in. So this is a report from the Ministry of Industry. And as of 4:10, they have set up a task force in order to collect information about damages. And in Ishikawa Uchinada town, as of 6:30, because of the earthquake in Uchinada town, the whole area is now without water supply. Uchinada town has a lower 5 intensity earthquake, but because of the earthquake in most of the area in the town, water supply has been stopped.
Regarding the impact on the mobile phone and the traffic, according to major telecommunications company, NTT Docomo, says that the mobile service data and sound services are difficult to be used in Ishikawa Prefecture, and optical internet service and optical telephone services are not available or difficult to use in some of the areas in Ishikawa Prefecture. According to KDDI, there is some impact in Ishikawa Prefecture and Niigata Prefecture. SoftBank says Nanao City, Wajima City, Suzu City, Shinka Town, Anamizu Town, Noto Town are in Ishikawa Prefecture. Some of them, the services are not available. In Itoigawa City, some areas are in the city in Niigata Prefecture. The voice communications and data communications of the mobile phones are not available or difficult to use. Rakuten Mobile says that in Ishikawa and Niigata prefectures, their lines and the KDDI lines services are difficult to be used for voice and data communications. Next, impact on the traffic. According to JR East, as of 5:45, Shinkansen bullet train services are suspended between Hokuriku Shinkansen Nagano and Kanazawa Station section and Joint Shinkansen's section between Echigo Yuzawa and Niigata stations. There is no outlook for resuming the services. According to JR East, as of 5:45 p.m., Hokuriku Shinkansen's section between Nagano and Kanazawa stations and Joet Shinkansen's section between Echigo Yuzawa and Niigata are suspended, and there is no outlook for resuming the services. As of 6 p.m., ANA decided to cancel 15 flights flying to and from Noto and Komatsu Airport in Ishikawa Prefecture and Niigata Airport in Niigata Prefecture and Shonai Airport in Yamagata Prefecture. JAL decided to cancel 9 flights between Komatsu and Niigata Airport. Their airplane companies are asking the users to check the latest information on their website. As for the road, there are bumps in the Noto Satoyama Kaido road in Ishikawa Prefecture. The road is closed to traffic in both directions between Hakui Yanagida interchange and Noto Satoyama Kuko interchange. And in Oyabe Tonami junction and the Shirakawa-go interchange in Gifu Prefecture, the road is closed to traffic. According to the Japan Road Traffic Information Center, the Joshin-Etsu, Kan-Etsu, Joban, Nihonkai, Tohoku-do expressways are closed to traffic. And tsunami warning has been issued to many areas, so please stay at a safe place.
If you're just joining us, this is NHK Newsline. We've been reporting about a massive earthquake and tsunami impacting the Sea of Japan coast. The Japan Meteorological Agency says a massive magnitude 7.6 earthquake has struck Ishikawa Prefecture in central Japan along the Japan seacoast. A major tsunami warning has been issued for the prefecture. Tsunami warnings were also issued for the prefectures of Niigata, Toyama, Yamagata, Fukui, and Hyogo, also along the Japan seacoast. This is the first time the major tsunami warning was issued since the 2011 earthquake in northeastern Japan. The warning is issued when tsunami of 3 meters or higher are expected. Tsunami advisories have been issued for the remaining prefectures on the Japan Sea coast. The city of Wajima, Ishikawa Prefecture, has observed tsunami of more than 1.2 meters at 4:21 p.m. Japan time on Monday following the quake. The city of Toyama in Toyama Prefecture also reported tsunami of 80 centimeters at 4:35 p.m. The city of Kanazawa, Ishikawa Prefecture, has observed 70 centimeters, and Okushiri Island in Hokkaido observed tsunami of 50 centimeters. The port of Kashiwazaki in Niigata Prefecture and Tobishima Island off Sakata City, Yamagata Prefecture, observed tsunami of 40 centimeters at 4:36 p.m. local time. Tsunami have been reaching the Japan Sea coast. Tsunami will repeatedly hit the coast and may become higher. People in those areas must evacuate immediately, escape to higher ground, and go as far away as possible from the coast. Firefighters in Wajima City say a blaze broke out in the center of the city. Video footage shows a massive fire in the area. An official at a hospital in Suzu City in Ishikawa Prefecture says people who were injured in the earthquake have been transported there. Some doctors have been unable to reach the hospital as the roads have been damaged. The official also says the hospital is operating with a spare generator as power has been cut. Medical staff at another hospital in Wajima City have been treating patients in a parking area in the facility. Ishikawa Prefecture police officials have been gathering information on the damage caused by the quake. Reports of damages brought about by the massive quake are coming in. Police in the city of Himi in Toyama Prefecture say that they've received reports of cracks in roads at several locations as of 4:30 p.m. on Monday. An official at the municipality of Oyabe, also in Toyama Prefecture, received several reports of broken water pipes as of 4:35 p.m. In the area where tsunami warnings are issued, residents are evacuating to higher ground and elsewhere. And now we go to our domestic service with simultaneous interpretation.
The reports and also the report of the cluster houses are reported, and so that we will keep on gathering the information as much as possible to get the status quo. As for the lifeline services that in Ishikawa and the other areas that as of the 6 o'clock, 33,000 of the houses are blackout, and we are trying to confirm that the water and the gas that in Niigata and the other areas that the communication was disrupted, the cell phone communications, the others. As for the transportation rate at this moment, that the expressways that there are 5, 6, 7 areas that the roads are disrupted, Joetsu and Shinkansen and Hokuetsu, and some of that the services are suspended. In Noto Airport, that airstrip is closed. And based upon that the disaster law, and as of the 5:30, that the specific disaster prevention the home office was established from the 8 o'clock that we are going to convene the first meeting of the headquarters of the disaster prevention, and also the status of the disaster, and we dispatched that the research of the research team of the Prime Minister's office to the Ishikawa prefecture, together with the very close ties with the Ishikawa prefectures and the others, the local governments, and the 3 services of the SD self-defense forces and the local policies and the firefighters will collaborate for that protect the lives of the people. And afflicted areas, the people are that strongly recommended to stay alert of the intensity of 7 of the earthquakes and aftershocks, and also that please check the TV and radio and the internet through these medias to check the most up-to-date information. Let me repeat. And together, because of the earthquake, the major tsunami warning is issued for the Noto district of the Ishikawa, and anticipated tsunami is about 5 meters. And so that this is life and death issue that I can tell you, and therefore that please take shelter of that, make shelter as soon as possible.
And if you are taking shelter, please make sure that you do not leave the safe place. I'm from NHK, and concerning the damage of the SDF, about their operation, are there any requests for the SDF to come and rescue? Well, so far, from governors, we have not received any requests, but the SDF, I believe, are voluntarily trying to send their troops. This is Asahi Shimbun. Once again about the damage. You said that there were some buildings that have collapsed, but have you heard about any injuries? Well, so far we have not received any information, but in Ishikawa, because of a building collapse, there were 6 cases where people have been trapped under rubble. So we are continuing to try to collect information. I'm from Kyodo Tsushin. There are some witnesses of fire and smoke, but do you have any information about fire that may have broken out? So there are some information about buildings that have collapsed in Wajima City. There is a fire that has occurred. I'm Mainichi Shimbun. So there were reports to the police and fire station, you said, but do you have any grasp of the extent of these reports coming in? Well, there are reports coming into the police and the fire department. That's all that we know. We don't know the details. Now, are there any human injuries or any damages caused by the tsunami so far? Are there any damages or injuries caused by the tsunami so far? Well, injuries and also damages to buildings are, as I've explained earlier, but we do not understand if they were caused by the tsunami or not. And the earthquake is continuing, and already it is nighttime, and I believe people may have traveled to places where they do not live, or they may be visiting their families. Well, yes, strong earthquakes may occur after this, so therefore, please make sure that you are updated with the latest information. I'd like to ask the residents, as well as people who are staying on a trip, to make sure that you secure your safety. I'm Sasagawa from Asahi Shimbun. About the nuclear power plants, a tsunami is observed along the Japan Sea coast, and it's not just Ishikawa, but there are several other nuclear power plants. So have you been able to confirm the safety of these power plants? How far have you been able to confirm? For the Ishikawa, there was a fire in the substation. However, it has been extinguished, and it has not affected the main nuclear power plant. And for other power plants as well, we have not received any reports on major damages. Governor Hase, I believe, was visiting the Prime Minister's office, and also after this there may be aftershocks. And will this affect anything? Well, Governor Hase, he is unable to return to Ishikawa, and therefore he will be in contact with the national government in order to deal with the situation. Matsumura, who is the minister in charge of disaster prevention, he will be contacting Mr. Hase. So you said that there were 6 cases where people are trapped under rubble. So can we say that there are 6 people trapped under rubble? Do you know the number of people? Well, as I've explained earlier, there are 6 cases where people are trapped under collapsed houses, but we are trying to collect information about that. So I'm from Japan TV. Do you have any information about landslides caused by the earthquake?
We have multiple reports of buildings collapsing. And as for the landslides, I don't have any information yet. We are still checking. At Ishikawa nuclear power plant, what about the fire of the transformer? Is that because of the tsunami or earthquake? Do you have any information on the cause? At the Ishikawa nuclear power plant, and the fire occurred for the transformer, and it has been extinguished, but we are still checking the details of the cause. Sasagawa from Asahi Shimbun. I would like to ask you about Prime Minister Kishida's response. Is he planning to visit the area? On the 4th of January, the Prime Minister and the cabinet members may make a visit to Ise Shrine. As of now, Prime Minister's visit to the area has not been decided yet. Regarding this earthquake and the status of the damage, we are still collecting the information. So there is no information I can share as of now on this occasion. The cabinet crisis officer is dealing with the situation right now. The crisis management officer has not come to the cabinet office yet. We haven't checked the details yet, but we will report to you as soon as we know further information. Regarding the dispatch of the self-defense forces, there was a question earlier. There is no request from the governor yet, but earlier, from Governor Hase to the self-defense forces, there was a request for the dispatch of the personnel. Okabe from Yomiuri Shimbun, I have a question to confirm. You're going to organize a meeting for the disaster task force. The minister in charge of disasters is going to head this meeting. Regarding the request for the dispatch, no other request from prefectures other than Ishikawa Prefecture. We received a request just from Governor Hase of Ishikawa Prefecture as of now. It was a news conference by Hayashi. There are reports of the collapse of buildings, and there are 6 cases of people not being able to go out, so they're buried alive. So caution should be taken about the upcoming tremors, and please check the safety with each other. And major tsunami warning has been issued to Noto, Ishikawa Prefecture. It can be as high as 5 meters. In the meantime, tsunami has been observed. Yamagata Prefecture, Sakata Port at 80 centimeter tsunami has been observed. In Hokkaido, Rishiri Town and Hamada Port in Shimane Prefecture, tsunami has been observed.
This is NHK Newsline. We've been reporting on the massive earthquake and various areas under major tsunami warning and tsunami warnings across the Sea of Japan coast. The Japan Meteorological Agency says a massive magnitude 7.6 earthquake has struck Ishikawa Prefecture in central Japan along the Japan Sea coast. A major tsunami warning has been issued for the prefecture. Tsunami warnings were also issued for the prefectures of Niigata, Toyama, Yamagata, Fukui, and Hyogo, also along the Japan Sea coast. It's the first time the major tsunami warning was issued since the 2011 earthquake in northeastern Japan. The warning is issued when tsunami of 3 meters or higher are expected. Tsunami advisories have been issued for the remaining prefectures on the Japan Sea coast. The city of Wajima, Ishikawa Prefecture, has observed tsunami of more than 1.2 meters at 4:21 p.m. Japan time. That's almost 3 hours ago on Monday following the quake. The city of Toyama in Toyama Prefecture also reported tsunami of 80 centimeters at 4:35 p.m. The city of Kanazawa, Ishikawa Prefecture, has observed 70 centimeters, and Okushiri Island in Hokkaido observed tsunami of 50 centimeters. The port of Kashiwazaki in Niigata Prefecture and Tobishima Island off Sakata City, Yamagata Prefecture, observed tsunami of 40 centimeters at 4:36 p.m. Tsunami have been reaching the Japan Sea coast. Tsunami will repeatedly hit the coast and may become higher. People in those areas must evacuate immediately, escape to higher ground, and go as far away as possible from the coast. Firefighters in Wajima City say a blaze broke out in the center of the city. Video footage shows a massive fire in the area. An official at a hospital in Suzu City in Ishikawa Prefecture says people who were injured in the earthquake have been transported there. Some doctors have been unable to reach the hospital as the roads have been damaged. The official also says the hospital is operating with a spare generator as power has been cut. Medical staff at another hospital in Wajima City have been treating patients in a parking area in the facility. Ishikawa Prefecture police officials have been gathering information on damage caused by the quake. Reports of damages brought about by the massive quake are coming in. Police in the city of Himi in Toyama Prefecture say that they've received reports of cracks in roads at several locations as of 4:30 p.m. on Monday. An official at the municipality of Oyabe, also in Toyama Prefecture, received several reports of broken water pipes as of 4:35 p.m. In the area where tsunami warnings are issued, residents are evacuating to higher ground and elsewhere. Officials in Nomi City in Ishikawa Prefecture say that as of 5:30 p.m., about 100 people took refuge in the city hall's main building. In Yamagata Prefecture, about 2,000 people have been evacuated to facilities such as local city offices. Hokuriku Electric Power Company says about 33,000 households are without power in Ishikawa Prefecture. The number includes about 10,300 in Wajima City, 7,300 in Noto Town, and 7,100 in Suzu City. East Japan Railway Company says operation of the Akita Shinkansen line was suspended around 5 p.m. local time. The Hokuriku Shinkansen lines have been also partially stopped, and it's not known when service will resume. Japan's Nuclear Regulation Authority says no problems have been found with the reactors at the Shika nuclear power plant in Ishikawa Prefecture following the earthquake. Hokuriku Electric Power Company says both of the 2 reactors at the plant have been offline since before the earthquake. Meanwhile, Japan's Prime Minister Kishida Fumio has called on the public to be on the alert for more powerful earthquakes.
After 4:40 p.m. today, the Noto region of Ishikawa Prefecture was hit by a quake with a maximum intensity of 7, followed by a series of major quakes. Major tsunami warning has been issued for several areas. The government has set up the disaster response team immediately after the quake, and I gave 3 instructions. First, communicate information on tsunami and evacuation to the people as accurately as possible. Second, grasp the damage situation as quickly as possible. Third, coordinate with local municipalities, putting human lives first. So I gave these 3 instructions. I call on the people in the disaster-hit areas to remain on alert for more earthquakes to come. In the areas where tsunami is expected, please take shelter to safer places. For further details, I'll get a briefing on the latest situation.
Japan's meteorological agency has called for people to be cautious as more major earthquakes are expected. An agency official made the comment at a news conference.
On January 1st, 2024 at 4:10 p.m., the earthquake hit Ishikawa Prefecture. Major tsunami warning has been issued for Noto region of Ishikawa Prefecture. The major tsunamis are being observed. Those of you in coastal areas or along the rivers, please escape to higher ground. In Ishikawa, a quake with an intensity of 7 was observed. In the earthquake-hit region, the houses have collapsed and mudslides occurred. So please stay away from the dangerous places for about a week or so, especially for 2 or 3 days from now. A quake of an intensity of 7 could happen. So the major tsunamis was observed that could result in the major damage. So the people in the coastal areas and along the rivers must evacuate to higher ground or sturdy buildings. And please stay in safe place. In the areas hit by strong jolts, there's heightened risk of houses collapsing or mudslides. So please get informed of the future rainfall forecast and earthquake forecast. For the future prospect, in the past, when a major quake occurs, the chance of the quake at a similar level occurring is about 10 or 20%. So for the 1 week or so after the quake, please be careful about the major earthquake, especially for 2 or 3 days. And this region has been experiencing very active seismic activities for more than 3 years, and this trend will continue for the time being. And these tremors hit the wider areas than usual.
And here's some information regarding nuclear power plants. Operators of the Oi and Takahama nuclear power plants in Fukui Prefecture and the Shimane plant in Matsue City say no irregularities have been detected in their facilities. The operators of the Shika nuclear plant in Ishikawa Prefecture and the Kashiwazaki Kariwa plant in Niigata Prefecture say they're inspecting the impact of the quake, but they say they've found no changes to the monitoring post that measures the radiation levels around the nuclear plants. And here's some information on air transportation. 15 ANA flights to and from Noto, Komatsu, Niigata, and Shonai airports, and 9 JAL flights to and from Komatsu and Niigata airports have been canceled. And for highway information, major highways that run along the Japan Sea coast have been closed. They are the Hokuriku, Tokai Hokuriku, Joshinetsu, Kanetsu, Nihonkai Tohoku, and Banetsu lines. Those are the highways that have been closed. And tsunami waves have reached the coast in some areas. A tsunami wave of over 1.2 meters has been observed at Ishikawa Prefecture's Wajima City, and waves of 90 centimeters have been observed at Ishikawa Prefecture's Kanazawa Port. Waves of 80 centimeters have impacted Toyama City and Yamagata Prefecture's Sakata Port. And tsunami waves have reached other areas, including Hokkaido Prefecture's Setana Port, Hokkaido Prefecture's Okushiri Islands, Okushiri Port, Niigata Prefecture's Kashiwazaki City, Yamagata Prefecture's Tobishima, Niigata Port, Niigata Prefecture's Sado City's Washizaki, Shimane Prefecture's Oki Island Saigo Port, Aomori Prefecture's Fukaura Town, Fukui Prefecture's Tsuruga Port, Hyogo Prefecture's Toyooka City, and Kyoto Prefecture's Maizuru Port, and surrounding areas have also seen tsunami observations. Please stay alert. Waves can hit repeatedly and get higher. During the 2011 Great East Japan earthquake, tsunami of over 10 meters struck after initial waves measured far below a meter. So do not underestimate their strength. Continue to evacuate until all warnings are lifted. And a major tsunami warning is being issued for Ishikawa Prefecture's Noto region. Waves of up to 5 meters are expected to impact the area. Waves of 1.2 meters and over have hit the coast about 3 hours ago. But the JMA says higher waves of up to 5 meters are possible. And Ishikawa Prefecture's Noto region is under a major tsunami warning. If you are in that area, you must evacuate immediately. The following areas are under a tsunami warning. These people in these areas must evacuate immediately as well. Waves of 3 meters, up to 3 meters, are expected to have reached Yamagata Prefecture, are expected to impact Yamagata Prefecture. Waves of up to 3 meters are expected to impact Niigata Prefecture's Jochu Kaetsu regions, Sado Island, Toyama Prefecture, Ishikawa Prefecture's Kaga region, and Fukui Prefecture, as well as northern Hyogo Prefecture. If you are in the affected areas, you must evacuate immediately. You're risking your life if you do not do so. Head to the highest possible ground right away. If there are no raised locations around you, go far away from the coast or high up tall, sturdy buildings. Do not hesitate or stop or go back to where you came from. Call on others to evacuate as well. Tsunami can be much higher than you expect. They will run up slopes and gush inland. They can also hit repeatedly and grow in size. Once again, a major tsunami warning has been issued for Ishikawa's Noto region. If you are in that area, evacuate to higher ground immediately. And now we go to our domestic service with simultaneous interpretation.
Now, information about houses that have collapsed. Ishikawa Prefecture, Suzu police say that at Suzu, which registered a seismic intensity of 6, the police have been contacted by multiple people who are unable to come out of their houses since their houses collapsed. According to Ishikawa Prefecture, Suzu police, Suzu registered upper 6 on the Japanese seismic scale of 0 to 7. Multiple people are unable to get out of their houses after their buildings collapsed. The police and fire department are trying to gauge the situation. Due to the repeated jolts, the risk of a landslide is growing, and this could cause more damage. Please make sure to seek shelter tonight in a sturdy building.
We have the correspondent Tokikuni Ruka to the report on the status quo of the Ishikawa. I have in the gym of the Nano, that Ishikawa Prefecture, that the martial art gym and also this gym are used as shelters. And in the martial art, the training center is also the shelter. Now, the toilet is used, and also the one stove was carried into the martial art training center. However, that it is still quite cold, and those the afflicted areas are trying to keep warm with the coats that they bring in. And also the gym next door is also used as a shelter. That was the status quo of the Nano that the Ishikawa Prefecture. Tokikuni-san, how about the people who are taking shelter? Are there many injured people? They are trying to gather the information of in terms, for example, how many are taking shelters, and there are no report of the injuries or bodily harms. However, that some people may have the deteriorated health conditions, and therefore that there are the requests of the medical professionals, and also that those people that are with the small children. That we interviewed the housewives, the small children, said that she's very anxious because the warnings can be that warning sounds from the cellular phones almost incessantly, and so there is the great stress that they inflicted on the children's to give the big hug to the children, and also that keep on mutually encouraging each other. And Tokikuni-san, are there any? Well, the upper 6 was observed. However, that what are the reports that you hear from interviews of that local people? Well, many of the people have jumped out of the house or leaving the house as they are, and so that they are very uneasy, feeling uneasy, whether no food is available, and also they have no ideas of what the houses are left in the conditions, and also that there is no food and water for the children. But there are the information the water is available, but people are uneasy of the future of the stoppage of that the water service. Yes, indeed, that water supply may be ensured in the future, and that is what they are fearful of. And many people who have left immediately of the houses, only that with a shirt on their back. Yes, indeed. So they left the houses just as they are, that they don't know that what are the condition of the houses, and they are indeed in a very stressful areas. And the temperature is dropping, I believe, that the outside, so that please avoid the wind as much as possible. And also that if you don't have the blankets, some of the newspapers can do a certain level of the service for keeping your own. And also the major, the tsunami warnings, as far as the warning as the issues, that what are they checking this kind of most up-to-date information of the tsunami warning? Yes, indeed, that they barely reached this shelter of the gym and martial art training centers, and those neighbors are encouraging with each other or gathering whatever the supplies that they are available to help each other. And this was the shelter of the Nano that the upper 6 was observed. Mr. Kusano Wataru of the Toyama Prefecture, that we have the correspondent also, that he has a report. And the upper 5 intensity was observed in Toyama, the center of the city of the Toyama. You can see the big crack of the roads, and there is a subsiding of the ground over the 50 centimeters even. And there are 300 meters of the length of the fissures, cracks, and the roads are impossible right now. And in Toyama, the Nippon Nihon Sea gas, and there is a leakage of the gas that has been reported a number of the times because of probably the rupture of the pipes, and the employees are trying to stop that supply of the gas itself.
We saw that there were cracks in the ground, and we have also heard of gas leakage. We know that people will be seeking shelter in the dark. Please take care. We heard of gas leaking. Please take care so that there are no fires that occur later as a result. There is an elderly daycare center near the port of Nanao City, Ishikawa Prefecture. Staff there told us that there are more than 150 people, including residents and workers, in the facility. As of 7 p.m., running water has stopped. There are cracks in the building's wall, and objects are scattered all over. However, there have been no injuries. This facility is a designated tsunami evacuation building. Everybody is seeking shelter higher than the second floor. Apparently, there is only a limited stock of food. The person we spoke to said that they were worried how much longer they would need to evacuate here. And now we go to an expert on tsunamis, Professor Satake from Tokyo University. We know that tsunamis have been observed one after another. Professor, what should we be looking out for? There's been a major tsunami alert and also tsunami alert. These alerts are still in effect. As long as the tsunami alerts are in effect, please continue to seek shelter. Until the alerts are lifted, it is important to stay in a safe place. Do not go back home. We've been looking at live feed, but it is very dangerous to look at the videos and then decide to go home. That is correct. Tsunamis can happen repeatedly, and tsunamis that come later may actually be higher. The tsunamis are occurring due to the earthquake that happened at around 4 p.m., but now the tsunamis are coming along different routes. If you stay close to the shore, sometimes there can be water that pools near the shoreline, and then the jolting will create larger waves. So again, it is very important to remain on high alert until all of the alerts have been lifted. We heard the evacuation centers are very cold. I know that some people are worried, thinking about how long they will need to stay there. That is correct. It is not easy to read when the alerts can be lifted. The Sea of Japan is a pretty closed ocean. Sometimes the tsunami waves will reach the shores of Russia and then come back to Japan, so we may actually see tsunamis sustained for 2 to 3 days, but those tsunamis are likely to become smaller. However, the meteorological agency will issue the appropriate alert. They may downgrade the major tsunami alert depending on the situation, but until the alerts are lifted, it is important to seek shelter. We've heard about the tsunamis that have been observed. What do we think? Now, at night, it is difficult to actually observe the ocean. Here is some of the data that we have received. In Wajima, the tide height has changed. So we see the blue jagged line. After the earthquake, we see that the tide actually surged, but then after that it is flat. What does that mean? Well, in the natural world, it should not ever be flat. That means that there is some kind of equipment failure. This is flat at 120 centimeters, so I think the equipment was able to measure up to 120 centimeters, and then after that it failed. We see that the red line is at 120 centimeters, and then the blue line has stayed static there. Yes, there's been no change observed beyond that on the data, which means that the subsequent tsunamis may have been higher. If we cannot get any concrete data, I think we will have a hard time understanding the overall situation. In Wajima, The initial tidal wave tsunami was 1.2 meters, and then beyond that, we have no information about the height of the tsunamis. As for Toyama Port, here, again, the blue line indicates the tide height. We see that the waves are relatively short, and the up-down wave pattern has continued. So when you say that the waves are short, are you saying that the jagged lines are packed? Yes. I think there's always been 1, 2, 3, and even 4 waves. We also heard about a tsunami 90 centimeters at Kanazawa. Here at Kanazawa Port, we see that the tide changed not immediately after the earthquake. The tsunami was 90 centimeters at 7:09 p.m. The tsunami continues to be observed. Now moving to Ishikawa Prefecture, Nanao Port. Yes, this is new information in Hyogo Prefecture, Toyooka City, 40 centimeters at 7:20, and then 40 centimeters at Tsuruga, Maizuru at Kyoto, and other ports in Niigata, Tottori, Iwami, Tottori, Sakai, and Hokkaido, Rishiri, and various other areas. More tsunamis have been observed. Typically, the agency is announcing tsunamis when new tsunamis are being observed. We believe that the tsunamis are arriving repeatedly. We looked at Tsuruga Port earlier, so perhaps we can look at Tsuruga.
This is Tsuruga Port, and the actual data shows that around 7 o'clock, as you can see, that the level of the tidal level changed in a marked way. And as Professor Satake says, that it is not subsiding yet. So the data attests to this. And Tsuruga Port of the Fukui, and as the 40 centimeters of the 721. That is the most up-to-date. Yes, one more point, may I? And the points of attention here, actually, that this is at the high, the tidal level, high tide. As you can see, that the highest in the Hokuriku that area, this is the high tidal level area, that is 41 minutes past 7, and that is that the most highest tidal level is at the 39 after 7, and Tsuruga is at 21 minutes after 7, and also the Toyama is at 36 past 7, and so this is the high tide the time period, and also that the tsunami is hitting, and therefore that we have to stay alert. Let me repeat that the tsunami comes again and again. It is not subsiding yet. And 1 meter is 20 minutes and higher. That means that it is at the highly anticipated is higher than this. And also the high tidal level is at the same period. And 5 meters is the maximum, and 3 meters is for the tsunami warning. The major tsunami warning is expected to do 5 meters. And so it is very difficult to observe that the coastal areas. And because of this, so that please do not go near to the coastal lines by all means. Professor Satake, that there are many that the warnings has been issued one after another this afternoon. Why? That in Noto, the peninsula, ever since 2020, there have been the major earthquakes taking place. Up to the last May, the magnitude 5 or lower 6 has been the scale. And however, that 6.5 magnitude was observed last year, and this year that's 7.5. So that is increasing in terms of the scales. And this is a very earthquake active area, and the major earthquake hit at this time, and therefore this is the combination of the two. The active earthquake and also the earthquake, and that's why that it has been producing the many warnings one after another. And I think that the center is between the sea and land. And Noto Peninsula has seen the earthquake in the southern area, the center focus has been moving to the north and shallower. And so that it's all the way to the coastal area. This is the elements of the tsunami. And so the tsunami has not been anticipated for the several years. However, this time we really have to anticipate that the tsunami have to be braced for that tsunami. The magnitude is greater, and therefore that the center focus is shallower and very close to the coastal lines. And so that is the center, the focus is very close to the coastal line, and which was the ingredient of the combination of the tsunami. So God forbid. And so that there is going to be the possibility of the yet another earthquakes and also the tsunamis. Yes, that that the magnitude 7 ensued by the aftershocks and subside. However, that as I have mentioned, that it has been intensifying that in Noto Peninsula and the areas in the surrounding area. So there is a possibility that yet another bigger earthquake hit this area in the near future.
If you're just joining us, this is NHK Newsline. We are covering the massive earthquake and tsunami. The Japan Meteorological Agency says a massive magnitude 7.6 earthquake has struck Ishikawa Prefecture in central Japan along the Japan seacoast. A major tsunami warning has been issued for the prefecture. Tsunami warnings were also issued for the prefectures of Niigata, Toyama, Yamagata, Fukui, and Hyogo, also along the Japan seacoast. It's the first time the major tsunami warning was issued since the 2011 earthquake in northeastern Japan. The warning is issued when tsunami of 3 meters or higher are expected. Tsunami advisories have been issued for the remaining prefectures on the Japan seacoast. The city of Wajima, Ishikawa Prefecture, has observed tsunami of more than 1.2 meters at 4:21 p.m. Japan time on Monday following the quake. In the city Toyama Prefecture, the city also reported tsunami of 80. The city of Toyama in Toyama Prefecture also reported tsunami of 80 centimeters at 4:35 p.m. The city of Kanazawa, Ishikawa Prefecture, has observed 70 centimeters, and Okushiri Island in Hokkaido observed tsunami of 50 centimeters. The port of Kashiwazaki in Niigata Prefecture and Tobishima Island off Sakata City, Yamagata Prefecture, observed tsunami of 40 centimeters at 4:36 p.m. Tsunami have been reaching the Japan seacoast. Tsunami will repeatedly hit the coast and may become higher. People in those areas must evacuate immediately, escape to higher ground, and go as far away as possible from the coast. Firefighters in Wajima City say a blaze broke out in the center of the city. Video footage shows a massive fire in the area. An official at a hospital in Suzu City in Ishikawa Prefecture says people who were injured in the earthquake have been transported there. Some doctors have been unable to reach the hospital as the roads have been damaged. The official also says the hospital is operating with a spare generator as power has been cut. Medical staff at another hospital in Wajima City have been treating patients in a parking area in the facility. Ishikawa Prefecture police officials have been gathering information on the damage caused by the quake. Reports of damages brought about by the massive quake are coming in. Police in the city of Himi in Toyama Prefecture say that they've received reports of cracks in roads at several locations as of 4:30 p.m. on Monday. An official at the municipality of Oyabe, also in Toyama Prefecture, received several reports of broken water pipes as of 4:35 p.m. In the area where tsunami warnings are issued, residents are evacuating to higher ground and elsewhere. Officials in Nomi City in Ishikawa Prefecture say that as of 5:30 p.m., about 100 people took refuge in the city hall's main building. In Yamagata Prefecture, about 2,000 people have been evacuated to facilities such as local city offices. Hokuriku Electric Power Company says about 33,000 households are without power in Ishikawa Prefecture. The number includes about 10,300 in Wajima City, 7,300 in Noto Town, and 7,100 in Suzu City. East Japan Railway Company says operation of the Akita Shinkansen line was suspended around 5 p.m. local time. The Hokuriku Shinkansen lines have been also partially stopped, and it's not known when service will resume. Japan's Nuclear Regulation Authority says no problems have been found with the reactors at the Shika nuclear power plant in Ishikawa Prefecture following the earthquake. Hokuriku Electric Power Company says both of the 2 reactors at the plant have been offline since before the earthquake. Meanwhile, Japan's Prime Minister Kishida Fumio has called on the public to be on the alert for more powerful earthquakes.
After 4:40 p.m. today, the Noto region of Ishikawa Prefecture was hit by a quake with the maximum intensity of 7, followed by a series of strong tremors. A major tsunami warning has been issued for several areas. The government has set up the disaster response team immediately after the quake, and I gave 3 instructions. First, communicate information on tsunami and evacuation to the general public. Second, grasp the damaged situation as quickly as possible. And third, coordinate with local municipalities, putting human lives first to cope with the disasters. So these are 3 instructions I gave, and I call on the people in the disaster-hit areas to remain on alert for more earthquakes to come. And also in the areas where a tsunami is expected, please take shelter to safer places as quickly as possible. For further details, I'll get a briefing in the meeting on the latest information and situation.
Japan's meteorological agency has called for people to be cautious as more major earthquakes are expected. An agency official made the comment at a news conference.
On January 1st, 2024, at 4:10 p.m., the Ishikawa Prefecture was hit by a major earthquake. The major tsunami warning has been issued for Noto region of Ishikawa Prefecture, and major tsunamis have been observed. Those of you in coastal areas and along the rivers, please escape to higher ground. The quake with an intensity of 7 was registered and observed in Ishikawa. In the areas where the strong earthquake or tremors was experienced, there's the heightened risk of buildings to collapse and mudslides for about a week or so, especially for 2 or 3 days from now. A quake with a maximum intensity of 7 could hit the region, so please be careful. The major tsunami could result in serious damage. So those of you in the coastal areas and along the rivers, please evacuate to higher ground or sturdy buildings. The tsunamis may hit the coast repeatedly, so please stay in safe places. In the areas experiencing the strong jolts, there's a heightened risk of buildings collapsing and mudslides, so please stay informed. And please stay away from dangerous places. As for the future prospect of the earthquake or seismic activities, in the past, when a major earthquake occurs, the chance of the similar level earthquake happening is about 10 or 20%. So for about a week after the quake, please stay vigilant against the earthquake with an intensity of 7. And especially for the coming 2 or 3 days, please stay on alert. And this area has been experiencing the very active seismic activities for more than 3 years, so please remain on alert. And the tremors this time was larger and wider than usual.
And we have information on injuries. Japan's chief cabinet secretary says there are reports of 6 cases of people trapped under rubble, including from collapsed buildings. And here's more information on nuclear plants. Operators of the Oi and Takahama nuclear power plants in Fukui Prefecture and the Shimane plant in Matsuda City say no irregularities have been detected in their facilities. The operator of the Kashiwazaki Kariwa plant in Niigata Prefecture say they are inspecting the impact of the quake, but they say they found no changes to the monitoring post that measures the radiation level around the nuclear plants. And here's information on air transportation. 15 ANA flights to and from Noto, Komatsu, Niigata, and Shonai airports, as well as 9 JAL flights to and from Komatsu and Niigata airports have been canceled. In terms of transportation on the highways, major lines that run along the Japan Sea coast have been closed. These are the Hokuriku, Tokai Hokuriku, Joshinetsu, Kanetsu, Nihonkai Tohoku, and Banetsu lines. And we have the latest information on waves that have already reached the coast. Waves of over 1.2 meters have reached Ishikawa Prefecture's Wajima City at 4:21 p.m. That's over 3.5 hours ago. Waves of 90 centimeters have reached the coast of Ishikawa Prefecture's Kanazawa port, and waves of 80 centimeters have reached Toyama City and Yamagata Prefecture's Sakata port. Waves have also reached the following areas: Hokkaido Prefecture's Setana port and Hokkaido Prefecture's Okushiri Island, Okushiri port, Niigata Prefecture's Kashiwazaki City, Yamagata Prefecture's Tobishima Island, Hyogo Prefecture's Toyooka City, Fukui Prefecture's Tsuruga port, Niigata port, Shimane Prefecture's Oki Island, Saigo port, Aomori Prefecture's Fukaura town, Kyoto Prefecture's Maizuru port, and Niigata Prefecture's Sado City, Washizaki. Tsunami waves have also reached areas along the Japan Sea coast, wide areas from Hokkaido to Kyushu. If you are in these areas, please stay alert. Waves can hit repeatedly and get higher. During the 2011 Great East Japan earthquake, tsunami of over 10 meters struck after initial waves measured far below a meter. So do not underestimate their strength. Continue to evacuate until all warnings are lifted. And here's information on tsunami predictions. A major tsunami warning is being issued for Ishikawa Prefecture's Noto region. Waves of up to 5 meters are expected to impact the area. Waves of over 1.2 meters have already been observed, but the JMA says higher waves of up to 5 meters are possible. So if you are in these areas, you must evacuate immediately. Very high waves are approaching. And tsunami warning is in place for the following areas, and waves of up to 3 meters are expected to reach these areas. Some coastal areas have already been hit by tsunami waves, but higher waves of up to 3 meters are expected to reach Yamagata Prefecture, Niigata Prefecture's Jochu, Kaetsu regions, Sado Island, Toyama Prefecture, Ishikawa Prefecture's Kaga region, Fukui Prefecture, and Northern Hyogo Prefecture. If you are in these areas, you must evacuate. You are risking your life. If you do not, head to the highest possible ground right away. If there are no raised locations around you, go far away from the coast or high up tall, sturdy buildings. Do not hesitate or stop or go back to where you came from. Call on others to evacuate as well. Tsunami can be much higher than you expect. They will run up slopes and gush inland. They can also hit repeatedly and grow in size. Tsunami advisories are in place for wide areas across the Sea of Japan coast from Hokkaido in the north to Kyushu in the southwest. If you are in these areas, keep away from the coasts and river mouths which could overflow. Japanese Chief Cabinet Secretary Hayashi Yoshimasa held a news conference shortly after 7 p.m. local time. He said no damage had been detected at nuclear power plants, but he said that utilities, transportation networks, and communication services have been affected.
Today around 4 p.m., we experienced a major quake with the center in Ishikawa Prefecture, and the maximum strength of intensity 7 on the Japanese seismic scale was observed. A major earthquake occurred. We are very, very sorry for those that have been affected by the quake. The tsunami warning has been issued for Noto in prefecture, and as high as 5-meter high waves are expected to arrive in these areas. So please take precaution and immediately evacuate to higher grounds. For the power plants, for the nuclear power plants, so far we have not received any reports indicating abnormalities. By 6 p.m. today, there have been many calls to 110 and 119, and there have been many reports of house collapsing and other major damages. We are doing utmost to gather all the information. We also know that there are many power outages, in as many as 33,000 households are experiencing power outages right now. And also communication disruption is occurring in Ishikawa as well as Niigata prefectures. In terms of the transportation, the 5 highways in 7 districts have been closed, and also Joetsu and Hokuriku Shinkansen services have been suspended partially. Also in Noto Airport, the runway has been closed, and these are the latest that we have received. We don't know the details, but then in Ishikawa, we got the report that the 6 people have been trapped under the rubble of the collapsed buildings. We know that more than one nuclear power plant is in the affected areas. Please give us the updates. For Ishikawa power plant, the power converter has been affected, but with no major results. And also, there has been no abnormality other than that.
And do stay with us as we now go to our domestic broadcast with simultaneous interpretation.
When the earthquake occurred, Governor Hase of Ishikawa Prefecture was visiting Tokyo, and because of the traffic situation, he was unable to return. However, now he is on his way back to Ishikawa Prefecture. And from 6:10 p.m., the Meteorological Agency held a news conference. A big earthquake and a big tsunami has been observed. So if you are living along the coast or if you are living close to rivers, please evacuate to higher ground or to tall buildings. Tsunami may come one after another. Until the warning or alert are lifted, please remain in a safe place, especially if the area had a very large earthquake. There is also danger of landslides and collapsing buildings. So also watch out for rainfall situation, and unless you absolutely need to go to certain areas, please make sure that you remain in a safe place and do not wander out. After a big earthquake in the past, a similar scale earthquake occurred right after it, and there's a 10 or 20% possibility of that happening. So please be on the alert for about a week. At least for the next few days, a large earthquake may happen again. And also in this area, for over 3 years, seismic activity was observed, and therefore you may want to be careful. Now we have some information on the nuclear power plants in Shika town of Ishikawa Prefecture. The Shika nuclear power plant of the Hokuriku Power Company is located. And right after the first earthquake, there were reports about a sound like an explosion and a burnt smell. The staff went to confirm, but as of 5:30, there was no fire that was observed. Also, one system providing external power is not functioning now. There are 2 systems supplying power from the outside. There are 2 at least, but one is unusable right now. This is the 500,000 volt system. The other one, the 275,000 volt system, is usable, and therefore there is no effect on the cooling of the used nuclear fuel rods.
And the National Emergency Response Center, consisting of the Nuclear Regulation Authority and the Cabinet Office, held a news conference.
Shika Nuclear Power Plant in Ishikawa Prefecture, Kashiwazaki Karyo Nuclear Plant in Niigata Prefecture, Nuclear Power Plant, Fast Breeder Reactor Monju and Fugen, both in Tsuruga City. The Mihama Nuclear Power Plant in Fukui Prefecture's Mihama Town. The Takahama Plant in Takahama Town and the Oi Plant in Oi Town. The official says power sources have been secured at the facilities, which is important for ensuring safety. He says it has been confirmed that cooling has not been disrupted in the spent nuclear fuel pools. He says there's no change in the operation of the Oi nuclear power plant and Takahama nuclear power plant in Fukui Prefecture. He says that means facilities that are in operation continue to operate. And there have been so far, no reports of notable abnormalities. Some of the monitoring posts near the Shika nuclear power plant have not been able to detect radiation levels, but other monitoring posts that are working show no abnormal levels. Judging from the measurements, it's believed that the radioactive substances have not leaked outside the power station. Monitoring posts around other nuclear power stations do not indicate radiation leaks outside either. The Nuclear Regulation Authority officials assembled immediately after the earthquake to collect information to respond to any possible emergency. Chief Cabinet Secretary Hayashi said a fire broke out at a transformer of the Shika nuclear plant, but it was extinguished. Said the plant has not been affected. Hayashi said there have been no reports of fire at other nuclear plants.
The update on the